If you're looking at me, I know you're assuming that I'm an African American or a person of color. I'm neither. I'm an American. My name is Lorraine Lamont, and I'm about to rock your world. Buckle up. In these next few series, I'm going to be talking a lot about what I call the attempted assassination of the American spirit. Now, why do I call it the attempted assassination? That's because they're not going to win. And they're not going to win because I believe that we've been set up by a higher power more than what we're looking at right here. So how do you assassinate the spirit of a country? First of all, you begin to remove some things. You begin to remove their freedom of speech. You begin to remove their freedom to protect themselves, their right to protect themselves and others to protect them. Then you create chaos. And when you do that, you also undermine all of its foundations and all its underlying structure and support. Having then chaos being created and continuously happen, then they depend on you. That's exactly how you assassinate the spirit of a country. But let me say something to you about American. Being an American is not a race, which we've got it all mixed up. It is not a color. It is not that. It is a state of mind. A state of mind. Everyone that's trying to get from other countries to this country, it's because it's what's in the mind, what they see can happen for them. That is trying to be destroyed right now so that we can be totally dependent upon a government. I told my granddaughter once, I says, listen, this isn't in a nutshell. Big government, little people. Big government, little people. The bigger the government, the smaller the people. Our founding fathers, and from the beginning of time, never intended for this to happen. If you think for one moment that they endured all the things that they endured, hardships, and yes, slavery, and lynchings, castrations, for us to stand in a line and get a welfare check, we are sadly mistaken. And also, the assassination of the American spirit only comes when we lay down. And I am saying to you, if you're an American, and by the way, I'm not an African American. I stopped being an African American, but 3-4 years ago. I'm an American. You know why I'm an American? Because I bleed red, white, and blue. Yeah, I honor the flag that we stand for. I honor the country that it stands for. And I am asking every American to really think. Think about what you believe. You know, it's one thing to say, all my life I've been a Democrat, or all my life I've been a Republican. Yeah, that's what you've been. But what I want to know is why. You need to think about what, but also why. Because when you get the why down, then you can get the straight of the matter down. Right now, the chaos, the continual crises to keeping us all in derision is really to continue to separate us, continue to divide us. Why? So then when we go to the polls, we be like, oh, no, you won't. You go in that polls as an American and you vote your values and your virtues, not what other people are saying about you. Stop the separation. Go have a conversation with someone that don't look like you, don't think like you, don't talk like you. How about that? And then find out what a true American is. Why do they want to assassinate the spirit of America? Because we are the nation that a lot of nations look to. They want to down us, talk about us. Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind that at all. I know that long ago, when the Game of Thrones and empires and kingdoms and dictators were about, along came a teeny tiny country and said, we're not going to play ball like this anymore. We're going to do a thing called democracy. And from that democracy, here we stand. Now, I know that people say, well, the Democrats that are going on is the Republicans. Listen, there's crooks on both sides. You're smarter than this, Americans. That's what I'm counting on. You're smarter than this. So the attempted assassination of the American spirit begins with you. It begins with you saying, no, I'm not going to lay down. I'm not going to lay down my arms to protect myself. I'm not going to lay down and hold back my freedom of speech. No, I'm not. And no, I am not going to call myself something that they want me to call them. Why? Because if I call myself that, then I'm going to be in their little categories. No, not anymore. We are Americans. Got that? We are Americans, and it is a state of mind. And by the way, for those that say, well, only the black people or only the white people, listen, let me just share something with you. When the strategies are created from within, there's no systemic racism. There's no such a thing. Now, there's racists that are in the system. Absolutely. Always will be. Racism is just like a sin of anything else. Well, there's been murder is a sin. Murder is horrible. They've got every kind of law in the book for murder. They got every kind of law in the book for robbing and thievery. Has it stopped it? No. Racism will never end. However, yes, we do need to put laws in place to make people wish they hadn't did it. But to think for one moment that you're going to end racism, that's not going to happen simply because racism is a matter of the heart. And you can't legislate what's in a man's heart. That's not going to happen. He or she has to choose to do that. We are Americans, and this is the land that God has set us up in. Yeah, a bigger power than me, than you. Long look saw this day coming, saw me, saw you. And out of all the times I could have been born, this is the time that I'm born in. This is the time in the nation that you're actually living in. And this is why you need to engage your gift. Listen, put your big boy boots on and your big girl panties on and get up and vote. And when you vote, vote your values. Do not vote because what my friends are voting. No, you have a brain. When you walk into the voting polls, you did not check your brain at the door. You checked your coat. Remind them that. Remind them of that when you walk in, that you did not check your brain and that you're going to use that brain. Look at the values that you represent. Look at the virtues that you represent. Look at the policies, not personalities. Stop voting. Well, I don't like his crazy hair and I can't stand that orange tie. I don't either. Welcome to the club. What we do want, we want to keep our country. And right now it's very fragile, America. It's very fragile. And we are the ones to make a stand. The Word of God says that when the enemy comes in like a flood, God will raise up a standard. What standard? What is that? A big wall, a boat, or what? No, that's you. That's me. It's time for you to stand up and to be who you are designed to be. I'm never going to give up. I'm never going to give in. No, I'm not. Nah. When they close that casket upon this body here, listen, let me just tell you something. You'll probably hear a thump, thump, thump going on. Why? Because I'm still going to be kicking. That's what I'm asking for you. I'm asking for you to be an American. I'm asking for you to take a stand. I'm asking for you to use your voice. I'm asking for you to remember what our founding fathers endured. I'm asking for you to think just for one moment. You're an American. It is a privilege. You can go to any other countries in the world and join and become citizens there, but you cannot become like they are. You cannot become a person of that land. You can't, no. You can have your citizenship there possibly, but like here, America, you become an American. You not only join the citizenship, but you also become one. And that is the difference. And we come from all different backgrounds, all different races. Why is that? Why is that? Because there's something pulling us here, the dream. Yeah, some people say more of a nightmare. It's only a nightmare when you don't want to wake up into the truth about you can be what you're designed to be. You don't need the big government. Big government, little people. Big government, little people. So we got the Black Lives Matter. We got all this happening right now. And we know Black Lives Matter sometimes and sometimes not so much. Don't get mad at Miss Lorraine because I'm only going to be telling you the truth. And in these next few series, that's basically what I'm going to be talking about a lot, about the attempted assassination of the American spirit and why black people being 4% of the population, always at the spearhead of something like this, and then go back to living in abject poverty when elections are over with. How is that? Oh, my God. Something's not right with that mechanics. Something's not right with that mathematics. Do you not think? I think. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to think. And one of my programs I call Living Life by Design. Why? Because he who lives life by design lives life on purpose. Everyone else is just getting up, hoping something's going to happen. You have been designed for such a time as this. There's no mistake at all. There's no mistake that you're in this country. There's no mistake that this is what's happening. It's all been set up, but something higher and powerful than just what we see in these political ploys of political pundits and that are prostituting our feelings and pimping us and dividing us and separating us and making us think that we're all are different when we're not. There's one race. It's the human race. I am not an African American. As I said, I know you're probably assuming that I am. Or you probably assume just a person of color. We got that going right now. As we can see, one of the candidates picked a person of color. You don't have to come to a brain. I call that a token Negro. Now, that's a whole nother subject. I know some of you are ready to be upset about that, but that's okay. I'll explain myself later. Being a token Negro basically is that when you come to the table, you don't have to say anything, know anything, do anything. Just show up. That is an insult to my intelligence and should be an insult to anyone else's. So this is where I'm coming from. How can we assassinate this country? You can't. You can't. You begin to destroy its fiber and its people and the way they think and the way they believe and to remove the very one thing we all fight for, our freedoms. You see, freedom ain't free. It costs somebody something. Nope. It cost somebody something. World War I, World War II, the amount of bodies and people that have lost their lives for us to be able to have this freedom. And yet right now we claim we want to be socialists. We don't want to be a socialist country. We can't. Americans, we want what we want. We want it now. And we do not want to have anybody to control us in those ways. Oh, I always said less of one thing becomes more of something else. And that's exactly what I saw that happening from the very beginning, from the past 50 years or so ago. Less of God, more of something else. Less of rules, more of something else. Whenever you close out something that is good and bring in something else, evil is always ready, crouching at the door to move in and to take over and to do what it wants to do, to destroy from the inside out. God saw this day coming. Nothing has caught him by surprise. He set me up. He set you up. The question is, America, are you doing what you've been sent to the planet to do? Are you living life by design? Are you just going to go to your room and hope it's all going to go away? Listen, guys, I hate to inform you. I hate to be a bad news bearer. It's not going away. Because what we see, and I'll talk about that in my next segment, and that is the assassination, the attempted assassination of the American spirit. There's also been a hijacking going on, and it's the hijacking of the Democratic Party. See, I have 30 years on both sides. I kind of know what I'm talking about. That's right. Been around for a little bit while. Just so you know, I've got 16 grandchildren, and I've got 5 grown children. Been to 17 countries, run my own business. Listen, I know that I have something to say, and I'm not going to hold back. So you want to tune in as many times as possible so that you can check this out. Of the attempted assassination of the American spirit. It is an attempt that they will not win. Why? Because I'm not by myself in this. There are many others that need to open up, stand up, and speak out. We can't even say anything on our jobs. We can't say anything on the streets. Why? Because of that fear. That's how they do it. That's how they get us. But we're not going to let it happen. Listen, I want you also to think about more than when you walk in those voting polls. Don't forget what I said. Don't walk in voting personality. Well, I don't like his. No, excuse you. When this nation does elect the next president, there's going to be a revolt one way or the other. Say that to yourself, one way or the other. So ask yourself this question. With a revolt and anarchy, who would you like to be in charge? Someone who is a deal breaker, ball breaker, that's right. Or do you want somebody that don't remember what breakfast they had or whether or not they've got their underwear on straight? That's where I'm going. This is not about a personality thing. It was not about a personality thing for me, my first choice to begin with. But it is about American. It's about being an American. The choice is up to you. You really do. You have that choice. And while you still have that freedom, I suggest that you use it. While you still can, America, I suggest that you use it. My name is Lorraine Lamont, and I've been thinking more and more about how I got set up for such a time as this. I think back from the beginning of time, being raised in the inner city of Detroit, seeing the rioting, seeing all the wars. But I'm going to be talking about that in a minute. But I want you to know that you have to think about, well, why is she saying these things? Why is she saying them to us? You know why? Because someone needs to do a slap, a spank. COVID has came along and spanked America big time. Spanked a lot of parts of the world big time. But we still have to get up. We can't lay down. We can't be quarantined for life. One candidate says he wants to shut the nation down. Hello? We need to get up. The economy will boom, and it will make it again because we're Americans, and we have a strong fight within. So I'm working on a song, my husband and I, and a part of that song speaks about get on the Trump train. He's going to make it rain. Get on the Trump train. Well, you know, it's not about Mr. Trump. It's about the ideology of being an American. If you could get on that train, then nothing can derail you. No check, no welfare, no stimulus, no free platforms. That's what I want you to think about. And when you're thinking that about, when you walk into those polls, take a friend, invite somebody. A lot of people saying, oh, I'm not going to vote. My vote doesn't matter. Every vote does matter and count. Would you want to lay your head down on the pillow knowing that you did your vote and the wrong person gets in or the right person gets in? Either or, you wouldn't rest well with no vote. Every vote matters. Every vote does count. You know why? Because I matter. Because you matter. Because of this is why we are Americans. We do matter. Absolutely. No, I don't want this country shut down. No, and you don't either. You know why you don't? Because this is why you live here. We all want that dream, a little bit of that dream. Don't make it a nightmare. Don't turn it into something ugly. And don't lay down and anybody take it from you because it's yours. It's yours. You stand up and you make it happen. That's how I feel about it. When I say living life by design, it's because he who lives life by design lives life on purpose. Everyone else, They just get up and hope something happened. America, you're smarter than this. We're counting on you. We're smarter than this. Our children are counting on you. Generations are counting on you. That's right. We're at our finest hours, said Winston Churchill. And that's how I feel right now. Get up, write a letter, make a phone call, do something. But engage your gift in the time that you live in. Don't lay down. Don't give up. And when you walk into those polls, walk in with your values. Vote policies. Stop voting party. Stop voting personality. And more than anything, vote as American.
Howdy folks, Drew from the Wild West Crypto Show. I don't know if you're watching what's going on in the news, but I think we are facing a coming Armageddon, and I have written a book called Are You Prepared to Survive the Coming Armageddon? You can go to armagetaways.com and you can sign up and get a copy free, or go to Amazon and get one. But this guide will give you the very basic things. If you've got to leave your house in a hurry because thugs are out there, this is the resource you need.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Lamont, and I am into the whole thing of living life by design. Why do I call my show Living Life by Design? Because he who lives life by design lives life on purpose. That's very important. Other than that, if we don't realize that we've been designed for such a time as this, we just kind of go through life like, whatever's going to happen, No. There's actually a purpose and a cause for you being here at this horrific time of what's happening in the world, in the nation. COVID-19, oh my God. Everything's horrible. Everybody's racist. My dogs are racist. My cats are racist. Everybody. You got that right. You know why? Because we redefine everything. In this whole movement right now, which is, by the way, is not a We the People movement. I want to talk this segment a little bit about the Black Lives Matter and why that is not a We the People movement. Not at all. First of all, as I said before, I am not an African American. Don't get upset on that, because I'm not. I'm an American. As long as you keep saying you're Polish, you're Italian, you're this, those segments and those separations, the political pundits continue to pimp us for our feelings and keep us where blacks can't talk to white, pink can't talk to polka dot blue, no one. No. We need to be able to have that kind of conversation with one another and respect and honor one another's views and point of views about different aspects of life. It's okay. So I'm not an African American. I'm an American. That's what I am. And I hold these truths to be self-evident, as we know how that goes. But again, it was not. This movement is not. I can't say it enough. The Black Lives Matter movement is not a We the People movement. This is a socially engineered movement by people of power and people of money. And you got to know this, guys. You got to know this. The burning down, the tearing up businesses, the beatings, the killings, and all of these things of people, because if you think differently from them, then you are racist, because they redefine what racism is. Racism is anything that you don't believe in that's like them. If you believe something different, then therefore you're racist. Something's wrong with you. And that can't happen. That can't happen. You have to make a stand, and you have to say that. So, Black Lives Matter. Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, just for the sake of everybody understanding and I guess putting things in its perspective. Yes, of course, I'm a person of color. Yes, they would deem me as a black. I don't check the box black when I fill out any application. I just put down other. Let them get confused. That's their problem, not mine. So let's look at it from a person standpoint of color. I remember growing up in the inner city of Detroit, and I remember when the riots were happening, and I remember the horrific things I remember waking up through the night and hearing the noise and all, and they're throwing things on the porch and tearing up everything. And I wake up that morning, and here I am at that point, even though I've been married for 41 years. Prior to that, I was my first child unmarried. And I remember saying, guys, we got to get up, and I got to get up and go to the store. I go to the stores, and all of the stores are burned out. There's martial, federal law, and all this stuff. And they're, ma'am, you can't go here, you can't. And I go back to them and I say, guys, we burned up all of our stores. Duh. I will never forget the response that came back. The response that came back was, shut up, Lorraine. And I thought, then shut up. I knew then that I was cut from another piece of cloth. I knew right then and there that there was something different about my thinking. I think I had become an American. You think? I knew right then and there. But I watched something happen. So when I look at this whole Black Lives Matter and this whole thing that, that's going on, and this reparation, and you owe me and give me $10, the whole thing, I say to my friends often, this is what I saw that happened in the city that I lived in, Detroit, Michigan. Look at not just this Detroit. Come on, guys. Look at all the major cities. They look like bombed out Beirut shelters. You know, we get all the money. Billions of dollars have been pouring into those cities where African Americans are heavily concentrated. We don't see any of that money. No, it doesn't. Why is that? Why is it? Why some of the major cities right now with heavily concentrated African Americans that are there are the major cities? They don't want to open up. They don't want to do any business. Oh, no. Let's keep everything shut down. Everybody checks and welfare checks. Well, let me tell you what I saw. This is what I saw. From the moment the riot started that time in the 60s in Detroit, Michigan, I remember very clear several things happened. Number one, my sisters began to play what they call the system. And in working the system, what happened, a flip the script really happened, and the system worked them. They began to find ways how to get more checks, how to begin to not to work. They were very intelligent, beautiful, smart black women. What happened to their mental aspect? What happened there? And so what I saw in them working the system was working them. And then what things that began to happen was a removal of several things. 3 in particular. 1, self-respect. The other was independence. And the last one was dignity. When dignity left them, I saw them stoop to levels lower than any person that I could really think that would be able to do that. I saw them leave their senses. I saw all that leave them, all their aspirations, all their goals for a check, for food stamps, for those things that the system was providing. Oh, thank you, Mr. Lyndon B. Johnson, for ending your war on poverty and then ending the families of black America. Yeah, I saw that decrease to nothingness. So white people, I say to you, my brothers and my sisters, and you are, because we're from the same creator, what is it that black people want from white America? And what is it that white America really wants to give to black people? We want our dignity back. We want our self-respect. We want our self-esteem. But the only problem there is that you can't give it to us. No, it is earned and given by God. The same way that we gave it up, we are the ones that get it back. Absolutely. So I look at what Black Lives Matter, and I look at the website. I tell everybody, go to the website. Come on, you Americans, you're smarter than this. Come on. Come on. This whole attempted assassination of the American spirit starts with using black people as the vertex point, piercing, causing all of the spread, all of the wildfire. And then they go back to living in abject poverty. I had enough. I don't drink the Kool-Aid anymore. I don't drink it at all. As a matter of fact, I woke up. We're talking about being woke. Get woke, America. We're smarter than this. And it's time for every one of us. Listen, I want you to think about the next segment. Hold on. I'll see you at the next episode. It's been great, and I'm going to continue that. What I also want you to think about is hold on to every piece, because I'm going to try to tie it all together. I might miss a few clips here and there, but you'll get the gist of the story. It is about the attempted assassination of the American spirit, and it is an attempt. It is an attempt that will not win because of you, because of I. We are going to hold on with everything on the inside of us so that we keep this red, white, and blue. You want to know what color I am? On my radio show, I call The Color Girl. You color me American. That's what I am.